I am Sankita Pubalan. Today, I would like to present the background of the company, the chronology of the accounting scandal, and the legal implications of this case. Firstly, let's begin with the background of the company. Kosmo Technology Industrial Berhad, which is known as Kosmo, is an investment holding company that has been involved in various industries including manufacturing and technology. Cosmo has produced a variety of industrial and consumer goods such as electronics, manufacturing, machinery, automobile components, and other products that support both household and foreign markets that may fall under this category. The directors of Cosmo are Dato Dr. Nick Abdul Rashid, Independent Non-Executive Chairman, Dato Noor Hamza bin Nordin, former Managing Director, Muhammad Azham bin Muhammad Noor, former Executive Director, and Helen Lim Hai Loon, Accounts Manager. This company was registered in Bursa Malaysia in May 2003. The controversies began when two former directors and the accounts manager submitted manipulated financial statements of revenue for the 2006 quarter, engaging in fraudulent activity. The next part is about chronology of accounting scandal. In 2006, the company submitted a misleading statement to Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad, which involved a major violation of the standards. The fundamental values of transparency and accountability have been violated by the reported falsifications. At the beginning of 2011, under the Securities Industry Act of 1983, they were accused of 8 charges of making false statements and facilitating fraud. In 2016, the directors were acquitted by the Session Court with insufficient evidence. In contrast, the High Court reversed this result in a subsequent 2023 development, finding that an initial case had been formed and returning the matter to the Session Court for more hearing. Last but not least, let's talk about the legal implications of this case. The directors are charged under Section 369A capital B of the Capital Market and Service Act of 2007 and 122 capital B A B B of the Securities Industry Act of 1983. Both of these sections are charged for the falsification of financial statement to deceive the commission, a stock exchange, or a recognized clearing house relating to the affairs of the listed corporation. The charged directors were released on bail with specific bail conditions, which include depositing their passports in court. As many as 32 prosecution witnesses testified in the trial at Session Court. Apart from being sentenced to 2 years imprisonment, Noor Hamza and Muhammad Azham were each fined Rm 1.45 million by the court. Helen Lim was sentenced to 1 year's imprisonment and a fine of Rm 560,000. The judgment took an unexpected turn when Judge Dato Muhammad Jamil Hussain allowed the appeal by the defendants and referred to legal severe mistakes made in the trial. So the convictions were declared as false by the High Court and all the defendants were quashed and all the fines they paid were ordered to forfeit. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muzafar binti Ahmad. I will present about factors that lead to fraud. Fraud at the companies such as Kosmo Technology Industri Berhad can be a result of a combination of fraud that may be mostly grouped into three main categories, which is the first one is opportunity, pressure, and the last one is rationalization. Each of these components is very crucial for creating a situation that is favorable to fraud. So now we move to the first one, which is pressure. Pressure is one of the main factors pushing either individual or organization to get involved in acts or fraud in pressure. Financial pressure can be a powerful force, especially when it starts from personal financial struggle, excessive debts, and overwhelming financial commitments. Next, in a business context, company may be under financial pressure to sustain stock prices, meet profit estimation, or live according to market expectation. Furthermore, pressure to perform, particularly when dealing with unrealistic objective or high managerial standards, it may cause an employees or executive to fabricate financial figures in order to present the more positive financial impression. Moreover, pressure from lifestyle might encourage people to take dishonest action in order to obtain financial gains, especially in sustain that are competitive or high standards. So secondly, we move to the opportunity. Opportunity is when organizations, poor internal control, presented an opportunity. A lack of effective checks and balance make it easier for fraud to take place. It could be involved in proper separation of tasks, allowing one person control over multiple financial operations, as well as making it easier for fraud to be committed and hidden away. Also, improper monitoring and supervision worsen the issue by letting fraudulent activities to go undetected for a long period. Individuals who are given access to priceless possession or confidential financial information are in a position to take advantage of these resources for themselves. Multiple levels of operation along with complicated structures seen in complex organizations can act as cover for fraud from auditors and top executives. Last is rationalization. The process whereby individuals justify their fraudulent behavior is also known as rationalization. Those who choose to take part in such activity often manipulate themselves into believing it is essential or acceptable. This process of rationalization helps individuals overcome ethical issues within themselves and process with fraudulent activities. Employees who are rationalized fraud as an example of self-compensation may do so out of entitlement or dissatisfaction with income or recognition. Case happened in Kosmo Technology Industri Berhad is the choice to fabricate sales figure in the case of Kosmo Technology Industri Berhad may have been driven by the desire to demonstrate to investor and stakeholder that the company was doing financially well. The responsibility of the executive and accounts manager created the potential for financial statement tampering which might have been worsened by witnesses in the internal control of the business. They may have rationalized their conduct by arguing that they needed to do so in order to perceive their careers or the company's position in the market.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to sir. My name is Syafiqah binti Osman and I will be presenting about the role of corporate scandal in developments of accountings and professions and also the conclusions for Kosmo Technology Industri Berhad. By the situations happened in Kosmo Technology Industri Berhad, it has shown that the corporate scandal have played a significant role in shaping and advancing in the accounting professions. The incident has exposed the major flaws in financial reportings and regulations that are being set up by the regulatory bodies. It's leading for them to make a betterment in the terms of corporate governance and also compliance. By right, the scandal eventually led to a development relating to the reliability and transparency in accounting practice, education, and also the corporate governance in order to build the confidence and integrity in the financial reporting. So firstly, the corporate scandal eventually alarming the regulatory bodies by improvising their regulations of accounting standard and framework in order to counter the loophole in the fraudulent activities. Following the event, in order to reduce the future risk, regulatory bodies usually tighten the existing compliance and form a new enforcement that provide a stricter oversight on the regulations. For example, in responding to the annual scandal in 2001, the United States government has introduced Sarbanes-Oxley (SOX) Act 2002, where it is complementary versions of law by adding 4 principles to improve the corporate transparency, internal control, and accountability in the future. Similarly to the case, Kosmo Technology Industrial Berhad has experienced a negative public perceptions and investor confidence relating to their case back in 2006. Due to that, the demands for greater transparency and accountability in financial reporting is deemed to be happening in the accounting professions and regulations. This incident can widen the scope of improvement that should be made by the Malaysia regulatory bodies to minimize the risk of future fraud activity. For instance, MSP may review the current accounting standard and make necessary modifications to increase the reliability of financial statements to the user. Next is the role of corporate scandal also shapes the way of education and training for the future accountants before embarking their next step into the corporate world. To ensure there is accountability and credibility of the accountant is well preserved, the educators play significant role in nurturing the values. The curriculum may highlight the importance of ethical standards and governance knowledge to enhance the understandings in this area. This includes by integrating the case studies with the real corporate fraud case, for example, Kosmo Technology Industrial Berhad, into the coursework. This academic structure eventually provides an insight for the graduates into the causes and effects of the corporate failure. According to Parsimin, in order to combat the rising issue of corporate scandal, it is believed that the producing graduates with a good technical skill and high morality is the best way. With the exposure on the ethical standards and real issue during their studies, the graduates can gain a clear understanding on the do and don'ts as an accountant and helps them to prioritize the integrity during their professional conduct. Hence, these approaches also provide a better view for the graduates in adopting their theoretical knowledge into the working environment. Besides, the improvement of corporate governance also is one of the developments in accountings and professions, reflecting to the role of corporate scandal in the Kosmo Technology Industrial Berhad. So in the case itself, Kosmo Tech shows there is significant gap between the corporate governance, where it is highlighting the inadequate oversight and lack of checking on the computerized accounting system. Due to these deficiencies, doubt arose during the investigations as they could not justify the key individuals for the data input and whether the system is functionally correct or vice versa. Reflecting on the issues, the improvement of corporate governance in the terms of enhancing the internal control is a crucial step in increasing the accuracy and transparency on the reporting. This is because with a steady internal control in the company, it helps to reduce the risk where detections of unauthorized use in the company resources could be identified. For example, every transaction involved in the usage of company resources shall be need approval from the supervisor and managers in order to avoid any error happen. In accordance with that, the financial reporting is much more secure and accurate with the delegations and implementations of internal control, thus ensuring the financial integrity of the data itself. So in conclusions, in the case of Kosmo Technology Industrial Berhad, where it is involving 2 former directors and 1 account manager in the company, facing a massive charge against the security commissions relating to the false informations of the revenue for the quarter year 2006. In the end, this scandalous issue eventually opened up the real deficiencies in the company itself, which highlighted the vulnerabilities of the corporate governance structure during that time. Given these situations, it eventually encouraged the regulatory bodies to make improvement on their sides relating to the regulations and accounting framework. This is to ensure the supervisions of the listed companies is highly effective in measuring and preventing the misconduct. Thus, it also emphasized the needs of ethical leaderships in the organizations in order to provide a high morality and integrity in the work environment. By right, this case also may become a benchmark in discussing a corporate responsibility and the importance of transparent governance in maintaining a good public perceptions and confidence in the company.
Few of recommendations to prevent from fraud. So the first one is strengthening internal control. An organization's internal control must be strengthened to stop fraud happen in that company. This involves implementing systems and processes to ensure the reliability of financial and operational activities. Segregation of duty is very crucial. Assigning different individuals to separate tasks prevent any one person from controlling all aspects of a significant financial transaction. This division reduces the profitability of both mistake and fraud, as it becomes challenging for a single individual to manipulate records secretly. Next is regular audits. Regular external and internal audit are very vital. Implementing forensic accounting practices during these two audits help identify discrepancy. An audit's ability to meticulously examine financial account and procedure can aid in the early detection and prevent of fraud. Next is automated control. Automated control can significantly reduce the risk of intentionally manipulation and human error by automating financial processes and ensure consistent execution of control and creates an auditability trail of transaction, facilitating the detection and investigation of discrepancy. Second recommendation to prevent fraud is fostering an ethical corporate culture. So the first one is code of conduct. Nurturing an ethical corporate culture is very crucial for preventing fraud and enhancing integrity within the company. Establish and consistent enforcing a comprehensive code of conduct that outlines acceptable moral behavior and standard is a very first step, such as could serve as a guide for employees when making moral decisions and clarify the consequences of unethical behavior. Ethics training programs. Regular ethics training programs reinforce these values by educating staff on the importance of ethical behavior and the specific ethical standards the company upholds. This incentive helps develop a common understanding of appropriate conduct and underscore the importance of maintaining high ethical standards for the company's success. Third recommendation is ensuring accountability and transparency. So the first one is transparent reporting. Accountability and transparent are crucial for prevent fraud and maintaining trust within and outside the company. Transparent reporting mechanisms are essential. Stakeholders need access to accurate, clear financial data. Accountability measure. Implementing measures to hold individual accountability for their action is vital. Employees must understand that inappropriate behavior will have consequences. Depending on the severity of the fraud, penalties may include fines, disciplinary proceedings, or the legal action will involve. Performance incentive. By doing performance incentive should align with a long-term organization objective, not just short-term financial goals. This alignment reduces the pressure on employees to meet unrealistic targets, thereby decreasing their motivation to commit fraud. Last recommendation is continuous improvement. By doing routine policy evaluation, organizations must regularly evaluate and update policy and procedure to remain vigilant and adaptable to emerge risks and challenges. This continuous improve ensure the organization can proactively address potential threats and maintain a strong reputation for ethics and integrity. By implementing this recommendation, Kosmo Technology Industry Berhad can improve corporate governance, reduce the risk of fraud, and foster a culture of integrity and accountability.